The NBA trade deadline is heating up. Rumors are flying left and right. Deadline being tomorrow, February 8th. Make sure you got your Woj noties on, your sham bombs on, so you don't miss anything. Let's go! This is our favorite time of the year. This is like Real Housewives for men. My favorite drama. At this point in my life, I expect the NBA to deliver trades to me like a DoorDash delivery driver delivering me pizza on a rainy day. I'm so thirsty for trades. Nothing gets me going like a few men getting moved around. Pause. So let's get into it. Doesn't it feel like every year there's one or two trades that no one really expects where a star level player is traded? Just last year, KD and Kyrie were both traded around the deadline. I know there was smoke during the summer of 22 of KD wanting to be traded and asking out. They tried figuring out this season with Ben Simmons, and obviously that did not work out. Kyrie asked out secretly and was traded just 2 days after. Kyrie has been pretty non-cancerous since being traded to the Mavs, surprisingly. We'll see how long that behavior lasts. He's on his best behavior, so we never know when Kyrie is done with the team and wants to be traded and ruins the whole franchise. KD was traded a few days after, and that broke the internet. A player his level is not often traded, and right before the deadline, it was great for us NBA fans. As far as for a fan's perspective, you can't get much better for the NBA trade deadline than what happened last year. Alright, let's get into trade rumors happening around the league this year. I'm not talking about the fan fiction CVS receipts fans be making up out there. Most fans' ideas are very optimistic, to say the very least. I was losing brain cells reading through some of this fan fiction out there. Don't waste your time like I did. Who thinks of some of these? Don't get me wrong, the NBA trade machine is super addicting to mess around with, but just because some of your green success trades happen and work in the trade machine does not mean it's a good trade. And I don't know why some people out there are wasting their time posting it on the internet for everyone else to see. I'm gonna start with some of the crazier trades I saw on Twitter from actual reporters. So they have some merit, but still, at the end of the day, they're still rumors. And one of my favorite ones I saw is that the Lakers, Le GM himself, will trade himself off the Lakers. And I find this really hard to believe, especially because he's got his family there. Bronny's now playing for USC, and he's going to his games. And he obviously lives there, and he's also Mr. Hollywood somewhat now. I don't think he's ever going to move from LA. He would have to stay in LA in my opinion, but a team that kind of would make sense are the Warriors. He would stay in California. I think this would make sense for both teams here, the Lakers and the Warriors. The Lakers are fighting for a play-in spot. Their roster is not looking constructed for an NBA championship run right now. Bron's 39. I get that the Warriors are also fighting for a play-in spot, but in my opinion, the Warriors are never going to trade Steph Curry. He's a lifer, kind of like Dirk, kind of like Kobe. And Draymond was suspended for much of the year for choking people, for punching people, for kicking people, for whatever he's doing. Cum buckets, pause, is finally showing why the Warriors drafted him so high. He's coming into his own, and the Warriors are kind of looking good lately. Steph and LeBron would make a dynamic duo instantly, with two of them being all-time greats, obviously, and Draymond would finally be able to play with his beloved and dearest friend, LeBron James. The likelihood of something happening like this is 1 in 100. Never say never though. Something much more likely is Le GM puts on his front office hat and trades away the entire LA roster. Circa Cavs 2018, when he traded away the entire team. I feel like I'm always on the edge of my seat waiting to see whatever team LeBron is on to make some trades. It's always so much fun, dude. Some guys to keep an eye on, according to rumors and reports, are if the Lakers want to make any meaningful upgrades to their roster, they have to either move Austin Reeves and or D'Angelo Russell, along with their 2019 first round pick, which in my opinion could have value because LeBron should be retired by then, and 80 in 5 years, who knows what. But a pick that far down the road will always be tricky to value because they're the Lakers. They can just sign a star, and good players always want to play in LA. It's a historic franchise, and they can be instantly good in a year. It makes it a little bit tricky to evaluate how good this pick is actually. And then again, the Lakers will have to move this pick to upgrade their roster, more than likely. And obviously, LeBron does not care about this pick 5 years down the road. He's trying to win now. Some names to watch out for the Lakers to trade for are, well, everyone. Lakers are always linked to anyone and everyone, especially the Rich Paul clutch clients. But realistically, I think with the emergence of Reeves recently, if LeBron tries to trade him, they got something to work with. I was gonna say Zach LaVine until his foot injury taking him out for the whole year. Realistically, it was making too much money for the Lakers to afford, so that wouldn't have made sense anyways. But Other than that, I think DeJounte Murray is a good fit. Bojan Bogdanovic, Dinwiddie, Royce O'Neal, and Dorian Finney-Smith are reports from Shams I've heard about. The real smoke has been with DeJounte Murray. I think it makes sense if you look at his contract and what the Lakers' payroll is. He can actually get moved. And LeBron has been cryptic as fuck lately, and I'm still not convinced he's not going to trade himself. But the Lakers are going to make some moves. They kind of have to. A trade for Murray would, in my opinion, have to include Reeves. And that's what the Hawks have been asking for this whole time, according to the rumors. And the way Reeves has been playing, he is kind of an untouchable asset on the Lakers' end. But in my opinion, losing Reeves, and maybe even the first F them picks with matching salaries, makes the Lakers a better team. Albeit, it's a short-sighted move, and in the long term, it probably doesn't make the Lakers better, but if they want a championship and they want to build a team for the championship window this year, that was something they would have to consider. There has been some rumors and speculation that they trade D'Lo instead of Reeves and their 29th pick for DeJounte Murray, but again, Hawks probably declined this offer. Lakers kind of feel like the guy in your fantasy leagues that offer you 4 bums for your best player. They keep offering you and you keep declining, but eventually I think the Lakers will do something, and realistically I think it's going to be something similar to what they did last year and add some solid vets who can play in the playoffs and in the rotation big minutes in the playoffs. And I think Royce O'Neal and Dorian Finney-Smith are 2 players I think the Lakers might actually go after, some 3-and-D wings. Moving on from the Lakers, enough of them. Some names to watch at the deadline are Kuzma on a struggling Washington team along with Gafford, Bogey on a struggling Pistons team, Wiggins, who has not been the same for the Warriors since his finals run, and obviously the Warriors are always wanting to contend as long as they have Steph Curry, DeRozan, who is on expiring and the Bulls have not been good, and Drummond, who many teams are interested, cheap contract, solid backup big, who could get some starting minutes for teams like the Sixers, and Bruce Brown, who is on a team option next year, which is $23 million, meaning it's most likely an expiring, could also get moved. Most of these guys are on a bad team, but they have been productive, and any contender at the right price will love them. Teams that look to be active right now are typically the top seeds in the playoff hunt. No surprise there. Gafford on a super team-friendly deal and has been absolutely balling, honestly. He's on a contract for 2 more years after this, and in my opinion, he really makes sense for the Thunder. They're fighting for the 1 seed right now, and their only real big is Chet, and we all know he's like 7'5", 100 pounds. He's a great player, but don't get me wrong, I don't really consider him a big. He's more like a unicorn, you know what KD said. A guy like Gafford offers them more size and defense when they eventually do run into Cat, Rudy, Jokic, Sabonis, AD, and any other big in the West that might give the Thunder problems. It makes a ton of sense in my opinion, and we all know they have $1 billion picks and they can part ways with a couple of them to upgrade their roster for this year's playoff run. And if they don't feel like giving up a lot of picks, they can still go after Drummond at a way cheaper price who would offer them similar attributes but just not as good. Eventually the Thunder are gonna have to use their picks anyways. They simply can't draft that many players for how many picks they have and hold on to them on their roster with how good they are too. And maybe not this deadline, but when there's the next disgruntled superstar, the Thunder should definitely dip their toes and see if the water is just right. Alright, I know many of you don't want to hear about the trash-ass Pistons, but unfortunately for you and me, they're my favorite team. So let me touch base on them real quick. Low-key, they've been one of the more active teams at the trade deadline the last couple weeks as well. I mean, they were stuck at 3 wins for the longest time. They gotta do something at this point. And I guess Troy Weaver thought trading Marvin Bagley and Livers for Danilo Gallinari and Mike Muscala was our saving grace. I mean, realistically, that opens up cap space this offseason, so I can see what he's trying to do there, but I mean, if he even has a job until then, we'll see what he's actually trying to do. I know that was corny as hell. I just wanted to feel like Windy for a second, but that's my breaking news noise. I just want to be like Windy Jr. But as I'm recording this, the Pistons traded for, I know I might fuck up his last name, but Simon Fontecchio. Overall, Pistons desperately need shooting, and he's shooting 39% from 3 this year. They did give up the Wizards' 2nd round pick, it looks like. That's going to be like a top 5 pick in the 2nd round. I don't know if I love that, but for now, I'm happy with it. The Pistons need to do something. And now it looks like the Pistons also traded Monte Morris. I'm sure many of you don't even know that he was on the Pistons roster, to the Wolves for Troy Brown Jr., Laker legend, Shake Milton, and a second. I mean, that's whatever. Monte Morris definitely helps the Wolves. He is a solid vet. backup point guard. These are like good warm-up trades for the real deal tomorrow on February 8th. For now, the Pistons are like the only active team at the deadline. I'm sure that's going to change tomorrow and there's going to be fireworks, but these are like little appetizer trades and I'm enjoying them as a Pistons fan. Pistons' most obvious trade chip is Bojan Bogdanovic, and Weaver has mentioned that he is not interested in trading him or Alec Burks, two shooters playoff teams desperately would want. And if these two players are not traded, I want Troy Weaver fired tomorrow at 3:01 p.m. Please, please, please set us up for success, Troy. Hopefully this is all posturing. But, I mean, I've seen teams in the past play with fire and then they get burnt. And this seems like it could be a situation like that. He's like, I'm not going to trade these guys, hoping for the best return he can get. And at the end of the day, get nothing back and look like a fool. There was some interest with the Pistons and Zach LaVine. I think a trade would have got done just because how bad LaVine's contract is, and he just had surgery, and now LaVine will definitely need to be assets attached to his really bad contract. I was a fan of the idea just because the Pistons need a star or someone that can get their own bucket, but however, that will be talks for this off season. And that's Pistons talk for you. That went longer than I anticipated. I mean, they did do 2 trades today while I was talking about this whole deadline, and hopefully they keep going and get some more moves done. Last thing before I finish this video up, I'm gonna make a baseless claim. LeBron to the Cavs or the Warriors, that'd be pretty cool. And Jeremy Grant to the Mavs. Yeah, no research, just a boy who can have dreams and trade ideas. No idea how that can be done, but I don't care. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let the trades begin. The deadline is in 1 day. It's been a little quiet lately, but that's like the calm before the storm. Let's hope some crazy trades and wild shit is gonna happen tomorrow. And hopefully all the boys' favorite TV show drama, the NBA, doesn't disappoint for the mid-season finale.